Oh, there he is.
How are you? Sam, don't talk. I gotta intro you. She's stuck. All right, check it. All right. She's not even on camera yet. All right, look, guys. We have a sassy Malassie. Okay, this is a family friend, an OG homie, one of the best people I know, and I know one of the best people Narz knows. She's an amazing actor, amazing voice actress. She was on one of the biggest games of all goddamn time. So she's a pretty big deal. Can I get a warm welcome? Can I get some S's in chat? Can I get some yeehaws in chat for the one, the only, Sam Strelitz? I think she
Woo! Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! Howdy, y'all. How y'all doing tonight?
Good. I just want to ask the chat. Does Sam sound good for y'all? Oh God, I'm going y'all now. She got me doing y'all. But she sounds kind of low on my headset.
You sound low on my headset, but I can hear Narz perfectly.
You sound low on my headset.
Oh.
What a low.
We're lo-fi stream. But Sam, how you doing?
How am I?
Yeah. How are you?
You want the real answer? You want the quarantine answer? What kind of answer are you looking for? How deep are we gonna go?
Give me the Instagram answer.
We're doing just great. We're hanging in there and seeing how the results. No, I don't know. I'm okay. I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Before we got on the call, Sam was letting us know about her existential crisis that she's currently going through right now.
That we're all going through? Hello?
Yeah. True,
I was having an existential crisis, and my best friend was Jack Daniels and Mama Juana. I'm just letting you know they don't go together.
My crisis is slightly different.
I don't know. That's a pretty good squad. I cannot hear Gabe. I see his mouth moving.
Oh. She can't hear me, Zune.
Oh, sorry, Gabe. This is
Go ahead, take over.
This is an interview between me and Sam Strelitz now.
Uh-oh.
So Sam, you're currently in LA. You're unfortunately not suffering the cold, hyper bipolar weather here that is New York City. How is the weather over there in LA? What you up to?
Oh, God. Well, it was like between 80 and 90 degrees today. It's been crazy hot as fuck. I lived in LA for so many years before I moved out to New York, and then I kind of I've never been here for the fall really, except for Thanksgiving, so I kind of forgot how it was going to be and how hot it was, and it's just been crazy. We've had really beautiful weather. It's supposed to rain in a couple days, and then people are going to lose their minds because Californians don't know how to drive when the sky opens up and water hits the ground. They're all like, what's happening? And then there are accidents on the freeway. It's like, that's how used to perfect weather these people are. But I'm doing well. I miss New York fall.
You're missing the fashion week. Wait, Sam, can you hear me fine now, or is still?
You're getting better. You're getting warmer.
I'm getting warmer. We're getting to this.
Warmer.
I'm good now. You can hear me?
Warmer. Yeah, you sound pretty good.
Okay, well, we'll work through it. By the way, Sam, I want to ask you because we kind of talked about this off camera. You told me there's a difference between the yees and the yeehaws. So I need to know.
So I am not an expert on this. I'm just gonna go out. I'm from Southern California. Okay, I think I'm a Southern girl, but I'm from Southern California, just to be clear. So I'm not from the South. But I heard because I'm addicted to TikTok and I get all of my information via that platform now, that there is a difference between yee and yeehaw, and it's a whole different culture in the South. If you're a yeehawer, you're like, you got your button down, you got your slacks, you got your designer cowboy boots and your hat and all that. You're going to like the nice rodeo. If you're a yee, you might, be on a, John Deere tractor kind of rolling around and going to the local bar and, or drinking on the back of your tractor and three dogs running around after you and you're going to go, shoot some deer during the season. It's like the yee is like kind of like super OG Southern, and yeehaw is sort of like more sophisticated Southern people. That's the best way to describe it without maybe getting a little bit offensive.
So pretty much one is trashy and one is classy. Yes, it's like
totally.
So wait, Sam, which side of the fence do you fall on, or which one do you feel you connected to the most?
How much Jack Daniels have I been drinking in this scenario?
She definitely a yee, bro. She a yee.
Definitely a yee.
She a debutante, but she gonna hop on ride the mechanical bull, and she's not gonna fall off. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna make a scene, but in a party dress. So
I wanted to ask you, since we're talking about the Southern side, right? when preparing for your role as Mary-Beth, what kind of work did you have to do? Because you're an actual actress, right? Like this is your life, this is how you work, and you wear a lot of hats. Like you've done hosting, interviewing, cast, etc. So how do you prepare to play Mary-Beth?
Oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna let all the secrets out. I didn't know what I was going into when I stepped foot, in the studio on my first day. They did not tell us the title. They didn't tell us what we were working on, for lack of a better explanation. So, they put us in our mocap outfits. The whole like it's like almost like scuba gear with the balls all over the place, and then they put the boots on us, and it was like very essential about the boots. And certain people got holsters. I didn't get a holster because I very rarely ever wielded a gun. So um, but actually I got more into character working with the other actors than I did, sitting around and preparing on my own. We kind of each of us got to know more of the story of each of the individual characters as we continue to work on on RDR2. So I have no answer to that question. I couldn't really prepare. They're so secretive with the script and what they're working on that you couldn't prepare anything because there was nothing to prepare. So I winged it.
That's crazy considering that Mary Beth is a very iconic character. Well, she's one of that because there's not that many women to be like seen in this entire thing. I think there's like only four like pretty well-known girls that are the bunch, and you're friends with the other voice actress as well. How was it to develop the Mary Beth character? And then I know that you spoke about how some Sam Strelitz quirks or little things came out in Mary Beth. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. I feel like I got to know Mary Beth more and more via the scripts that we would receive. So, I found that she really loved, she was always reading. I was always doing like a reading pose, and I was always sort of like writing in my journal and talking about, romance. She's an idealist. She's a romantic. She's the type of person that in, the setting of 1899 in the Wild West, where it's sort of like anything goes and you're following a gang of outlaws. Her coping mechanism is fantasizing about how beautiful and romantic and idyllic the world can be, even though she sees a lot of pain and a lot of suffering, a lot of violence, and they live a stressful life. So every time I would come in and I would read a script beforehand, and I would memorize, and I would come to set, it was I was able to find out more about the character and really get into her shoes by virtue of the dynamic of the other characters and what they were playing. And I feel like that was, again, it was being there, on the day and working with the other actors and working with the director that informed everyone's performance, I would say. And then of course she has, Sam quirks, little things like, how do I play romantic? How do I feel about this person saying that to me? Is that a joke or is that more serious? So in any character that you play when you're an actor, it's your version of, pain or happiness, joy, surprise, shock. What would you do in that scenario, filtered through the eyes of your character and whatever they're going through. So you kind of can't really escape yourself, but really brilliant actors, like a Gary Oldman or a Meryl Streep, they make you believe that they've completely transformed. And I think that that's kind of the fun of watching people act. So hopefully I did some of that. Who knows?
Matter of fact, I wanted to go back for a second before we go even deeper into it, because there's definitely like some things about like the story you had to act in that I want to get into. But you said that you didn't know the script going in. So did you even know what you were applying for to begin with?
Well, I knew it was Rockstar, and I was like, I don't care what it takes. I want this motherfucking job. I've said this a bunch, but I've always sort of dated gamers, and I've kind of been the person sitting on the couch, or sitting, or them at the desk, me watching behind, sitting on, the bed, being like, all right, do you want something to drink? Should we go do this or that? And I've always kind of been, while they squat up, I've sort of been like a passive audience member, and so I saw, I had an ex who played Red Dead all the time and was really, excited about, games that were coming out that Rockstar had been producing. And so I knew the name, and I knew, Naughty Dog, and I knew certain things. I wasn't really a gamer except when I was really little, but I had an idea of how big the project was going to be if Rockstar was involved. And, the audition was actually, we were brought in I got called in from my commercial agents. In the acting industry, you have a commercial agent who sends you out for commercials, and then you have what they call a legit agent, and that person will send you out for theater and film. And so, I got called in via my commercial agent, and am I frozen on your? Okay, my
No,
thing is
you're
looking
good.
crazy.
You're good. You're good.
I see. I don't even know how. I'm like, is this working? Okay. I got called in from my commercial agent. I did an audition. It was like a giant monologue that was just like pages and pages long, and they were, they give it to you, and they're like, memorize as much of this as you can, and then come in and we'll do the audition. And I was like, holy shit, I really want this, but how much of these 3 pages can I really commit to memory in like 20 minutes? So I went in, I did it. I felt good about it, but it was neither here nor there. And then didn't hear back. Again, another quirk of the acting industry is you either, get called back in, called a callback, and you get to sort of re-audition for whatever role you were originally auditioned for. And normally there are more people in the room. Sometimes the director's there. Sometimes the producers are there. It's more than just the initial casting director. Or you never hear from them again, and you think, oh, what the hell happened over there? I thought I was great, and no one calls you, and on to the next. So it was months, and I hadn't heard anything back, and I just sort of like, I was bummed, but I just sort of like put it in the back of my mind, and on to the next thing. Then I got sort of like a last minute audition. It was for Rockstar again. To be perfectly honest, I thought that they were working on a GTA because whatever they called the title of it, it sounded like a GTA location on the map. And I was like, oh shit, I'm going in for GTA. I want this so bad. It's going to be crazy. Obviously it wasn't, but I was like, that was what was going through my mind. So I got called in again. And this time that I got called in, I was actually filming something that day, like out of town, like in the Hamptons, and it was like a lifestyle shoot. So I had like a bathing suit, and I had like my little thing over it, and I was all in full hair and makeup. And on my way back into town, I had this audition. I thought it was a callback, but who even knows at that point? After months and months, I thought maybe they're calling me in for a different character. So I went in, entirely new script, and and the script, I don't even know how much of this I'm even allowed to say, but I'm going to go ahead and say fuck it. It's quarantine 2020 season finale. Who knows what's going on? It was like this really weird script where I was kind of like seducing this dude to do something that was like really dangerous and kind of fucked up. And so I was like, okay, let's go. And I had rushed to this audition after being at the shoot, and I didn't change into a bra and underwear. I'd kept my bikini on underneath my outfit. And so Gabe knows where this is going.
Yees.
So I'm saying my lines, and I'm supposed to be seducing this dude, and knowing that I didn't have, knowing I was wearing a bathing suit underneath, and that was neither here nor there. During my lines, I started sort of undoing. I was wearing a button down. I sort of started like undoing my top and kind of playing at the fact that I was gonna, get naked and get him to do this thing that, was dangerous that he wasn't supposed to do. It was like to jump off a cliff into a pool of water or something crazy. And I just remember, in my mind, from my perspective, I don't actually, I probably blacked out and didn't know what the hell happened and walked out of there and thought, that was great. But in my mind, I was like, I had captivated my audience, and they were like, ooh, she's a little bit crazy. She's really going to go for this, and I teased it, and I think I got like 3 buttons down, and I did the whole monologue. And I just remember walking out of there and thinking, if I don't fucking book this job, I swear to God. Because to me, it wasn't really about getting down to my bikini. It was about, being a risk taker and showing I was fearless, because that was really in the meat of the scene. She was a fucking badass, and she was trying to tease this guy into doing something that was actually really like life risking. Like it was a very, very dangerous thing what she was asking him to do. But he was like all into it because she was so, persuasive. And so again, didn't hear back. And then I got the call from my agents that I was on hold. And in the acting industry, when you're on hold, that means that they want to see your availability for some dates. And they're either going to, continue and book you and have you on the project, or they do something where it's called first refusal, which means it's basically between you and one other person. Like you're or it's you at the top of the list. You're either the top of the list or the second one on the list. It basically means that you're like this fucking close to getting the job. You know what I'm saying? And so we kind of it was at that point where I was on hold, and then I was on first refusal, and then I was like, holy fucking shit, I'm going to get this job. And then I booked the gig, and I was so nervous my first day. Everyone was so nice. They were amazing. They're like a family over there. You know, they've been shooting for about a year when I got on. I want to say a year and a half, because I was on it for 3.5 years, and I think it shot for 5. And you know, they're like a little family, and I'm like the noob, and I'm like, you know, walking around like, oh shit, don't fuck up, Sam. Like, you want to keep this job. I don't know how many days they want you for this, but just like get through this and keep going. And it's intimidating because it's motion capture, and you have no idea what to expect, and there's nothing to prepare you for it unless you've done it before. And yeah, after that. And then after that, it's even more crazy because you're not allowed to talk about the project. You're not allowed to tell anyone you booked the project. You're not allowed to tell anyone that it's Rockstar. You're not allowed to tell anyone. You know, I kept my fucking mouth shut for 3.5 years, and that's the most excruciating part because the cast is so cool. The project is so amazing. It's so fun to go in there and do that kind of work, and literally, you're not even allowed to. You know, you can't really peep about it because you know. They're not about that. They're all about the gamer experience and having you know, the people playing the game figure out how it goes without any sort of like teasers from the outside world of like, you know, when you watch a movie trailer and you're like, oh cool, so now I know the whole movie and this person dies in this scene, and you're just like, that was a fucking bummer. Like Rockstar is the exact opposite. They want you to be so involved as you play because you're completely, you know, because everything is a surprise, that they don't want anything to kind of ruin that for the gamers, which I think is pretty fucking cool. But, you know, for me, it really sucked because it's probably the best job I've had to date, you know. Womp womp. Feel sorry for me.
I mean, but you did get to work with a lot of actors, a lot of voice actors. One in particular, Roger Clark, who plays the voice of Arthur Morgan. You were talking to me about like your kind of like off-camera relationship with him. Not that there was anything that sparked, but it was very homey. Like, I feel like that's something incredibly uplifting, considering that the voice acting community is very small.
Yeah, the voiceover community is really small, and the motion capture community is even more small. And like I said, you know, it's one of those things where you have no idea what to expect unless you've done it, and very few people have really done it on a consistent, you know, level. And Roger Clark is one of the most incredible people ever of all time. He's an absolute sweetheart. He's smart. He's funny. He's just a dream to work with. The whole cast was, to be perfectly honest. And dude, Roger and I palled around at the last E3 ever to be experienced on Earth, you know, last year. And he's just the best guy. He's like the coolest person. He's I can't you know, give him more accolades. He's just amazing. Everyone's amazing. Someone just walked through the screen. Who is that?
That's Sam. He's taking BTS. I think it's some behind the scenes shots. I wanted to ask you because I didn't. So, were you working on this project before you met us at the Mixer Studio? Because you said you were working on it for 3.5 years.
Yeah. It was a really happy accident that I fell into, you know, hosting esports at Mixer. I actually responded to a casting call on my own. I submitted on my own for this casting call that I saw on this kind of like platform for creatives. I was like, that sounds cool. And I had done one other hosting gig, and I was like, I don't know, I can do this. I feel pretty confident, you know, not shutting up for 4.5 hours in front of an audience. That sounds good to me. And so I submitted, you know, as you do in acting, with your resume and like a little blurb about you and your picture and all that stuff. And I got called in by JW.
Good old J-Dubs.
Jawan got pissed at me, actually, because on Cheddar I was like, and then JW hired me after my audition, after my interview. And Jawan was like, girl, what did you just say? Who hired you?
Oh,
I was
shit.
like, JW hired. He's like,
oh, snap.
he's like, no. He's like, no. I hired you. I was the showrunner. And I was like, oh, duh. Like, basically,
Duh.
JW was the casting director, like interviewing me and seeing if I could hack it. And then he passed me along when it's like you pass level 1, you get to level 2. If you make it past level 2, you get to level 3. And level 3 is being a regular at Mixer NYC Studio.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that was completely synergistic and random that I ended up doing any esports hosting, but I was still filming Red Dead when I got that gig.
Oh my
And
God.
that was even crazier because I was like, oh, all these people, they're so cool. I've never really hung out with streamers before, but I really like them. As I said, I've not streamers, but gamers. So I knew, their adjacent friends, but this is like a whole other, kind of community. You guys are so fucking cool and so professional. I listened to the whole beginning of Super Late tonight, and there's just so much going on in this industry, and it's just incredible. It really blows my mind, and it touches so many sort of like pop culture things, which is really amazing. And so I could not have ever expected to have been, a host and to meet people like you guys and Zune, who is. See, now I'm going to say that she does something, and you guys are going to correct me, but is she producing this? What's going
she
on?
Is.
Yeah, she is.
Okay, cool. Awesome. See, got that one right. Yeah, everyone is like so smart and such a go-getter, and it was just an incredible gift to kind of like fall into this, so to speak. And yeah, I was still doing RDR2 and I couldn't talk about it. And, I'm, again, like, because I'm not really a gamer, I was like, will you accept me? Because I'm going to be here with a microphone interviewing you and, talking about gameplay and like watching, as it all unfolds and sort of coming up with questions that I have that, that are interesting to me. But, is it going to be interesting for people watching, because it's not, I'm not an expert. But I just had the best time, and I met some of the best people ever. And
Hey, Sam, you still there?
Oh, are we losing her?
Rockstar found out she snitched. They're taking her down.
Oh no, she's been DMCA'd.
No, the old DMCA.
No.
She's back.
Wait,
Sam, you there?
Sam? Sam, can you hear us?
Samski.
No.
Oh, thank you for the raid, Megan. Thanks, Barry. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Strawberry.
Megan's a homie, bro. Okay, so we're gonna fill for time here. All right, Sam, she's in the middle of nowhere in like a bunk. She's back. Is she back? Oh, with the hydration check. Okay.
Okay, I took a drink. I thought, I think I just broke the whole thing, but cool.
Yeah, it's because you were snitching a little bit about Rockstar, and they were like, you gotta send the snipers.
They cut it. They were like,
cut the feed. I wanted to ask you, between the communities, and I had another question about Red Dead Redemption 2, but I want to ask this because we're on it. Between being in the film community and the gaming community, which one, like pros and cons, or like which one's been the most fun for you?
Okay, your mic is really super low for me, but what I think you said is between the gaming community and the film and TV community, what are the pros and cons?
That, or like which one has been the biggest joy for you to work in?
So when I got into acting, I always wanted to do TV and film. Like that was like the goal, right? TV, film, and I was in New York at the time. Really good fucking theater. Like theater was my entryway into acting. The reason why I wanted to act, like literally blood, sweat, and tears into theater. That was the ultimate goal. Was Broadway originally when I thought I was going to do musical theater, and then as I started seeing really getting really inspired by films I was watching growing up, and as you get older, people start recommending movies, and you're like, oh my god. No, that's what I want to do. And then TV starts getting better and you're like, holy shit, that's what I want to do. I had always expected that I was going to go that route when it came to acting. But the cool thing about gaming and mocap and being in a video game and knowing streamers and doing hosting was really that it all came as a surprise to me. Like I was surprised about how much I enjoyed it. And I was really vocal about, Mixer became a consistent gig for me. I was there, a couple times a month to do the streams and everything in the tournaments. And before Mixer, I was in a little bit of a depression. Like, when you're an artist, it's hard, you know, because it's always like you get really excited to do a project, and then you do the project, and then the project's over.
Yeah.
And then you wait for the project to come out, and then you wait for the time when you can reunite with all the people that were also part of the project, and then that's over. And then you're like, what's next, you know? And so having the consistency of Mixer and becoming a family with all you guys was just, it was so incredible. And again, I feel so grateful to have been a part of it. And you opened up my world to, you know, all these cons and all these, well, yeah, PAX West and East is also a convention. Yeah, just all these possibilities of things that you could do within the gaming industry and people that you could meet. And that was really fucking awesome for me. And going back to the beginning of this show, Narz, you would love VidCon. You would just love VidCon. You would run around and you would get to you make all the content. It's like this crazy thing for like YouTubers and like, you know, people that are making beauty content and like all of this stuff. It would be, I can't hear what you're saying if you're talking, but I see you moving. Gabe, take it away.
Oh no, I'm not talking. I was just doing a Robert De Niro face, like, yeah, you love VidCon. I was looking at like,
oh, Robert De Niro.
yeah, she loved VidCon, you know. Keep going.
The real question is, will a convention ever happen again?
That's a very
$1 million question.
You go to BlizzCon.
Next year.
You go to BlizzCon next year, you know. Narz
you think next year?
I mean, Narz is talking about the possibility.
It's online. BlizzCon's online next year.
She was talking about the possibility of like a VR experience.
I was saying that if what I think is going to eventually happen is no offense, but there are a lot of people that are still very much afraid of COVID and they do not want to go to these events. They're going to turn to virtual reality, augmented reality to try to still have a con, but without the fear of contacting COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah. Weren't they moving toward that anyway with Oculus? Like the whole idea was like you could put on your Oculus and you could attend Coachella with your friends and be there in, you know, VR with the, you know, Oculus watching, you know, Megan Thee Stallion perform or whoever, and like have the feeling of being in a live concert, but like in your own home. Like I agree. Yeah. I think that's probably the way that we're going, but it doesn't have the same feeling.
No,
it doesn't have the same.
It doesn't.
And I don't know, and I wonder, like, how are they going to do, like, the, like, demos? Like, you know, I went to PAX. I went to PAX at the beginning of fucking COVID, man. Like, February. It was
I think we were all there.
We were all there, yeah.
Dude, that was crazy. I was getting paranoid. I was getting paranoid about COVID at PAX. I was like, if one motherfucker coughs on me. When Sony and Samsung or whoever pulled out, I was like, this is real. I was like, COVID is real. COVID is coming. And I'm going to see Narz is.
Oh, no.
It's this cold weather.
I got to go.
I'm just teasing you. I know you already explained that.
It's so cold.
I'm just being a jerk.
I'm so cold.
No, but we were all there, like at the beginning of like this real fear that was arising. And when people started pulling out of PAX, I was like, oh, no. This is going to be really super impactful. And we'll see how this turns out. And, but at PAX, you know, you walk around and you have, what do you call it? You have meetings, you're doing demos. I was with my friend, the only Tachyon, who, you know, I was like acting as his like press woman, and I was like running around and videotaping and grabbing all of his footage for his content. And it was like, you can't do that if it's all virtual. Like, how do you do that? That's my question.
Yeah, I think the thing that's the most difficult to do VR, because like with gaming, it's pretty easy, right? Because you're showing like demos, you're showing like trailers. Like I feel like that's the easiest thing to do, but like music shows are the most difficult, right? Because you don't get that feeling of being in a crowd, which is part of the music experience, where you're like, listen to your favorite artist, whoever it may be, and you're like, you get the drums and everybody's like, yeah, da, da, everybody's jumping up and down. Like there's like that primal lower level mammal start of your breath, like, yeah, with the freaking staffs and stuff. You don't get that in VR. And I don't know how they're going to be able to replicate that feeling. Like, cause you know, the touch, the brushing, it's like, it's so, I don't know the word. I'm missing the word here.
Visceral.
There you go. Visceral. Yes.
Yeah.
But don't you also think, like going back to like the gaming conventions, to me, what I really noticed that was, again, another really cool surprise is that most people are streamers, right? So like I'll see you on your stream and I'll be in chat, or we'll co-stream and I'll be on the screen with you, seeing you and talking to you. But people, since they're streaming all around the country and all around the world, very rarely get to see each other in person. And so
Yeah.
part of the energy of the convention is seeing your fucking buddies in person that you're streaming with till midnight or 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or you guys are going, you're squatting up and you're taking down whatever other crew. And like, you're not going to get that. It's like going to all be virtual. And that kind of, I feel like that's really impactful when it comes to like the gaming community and what conventions provided and what they won't be able to provide in the future if they're not in person.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. You know, we have plenty of streamer friends. And one of my friends is like, yeah, this is the time she meets up with like her mods. You know, the community she spent some time, like, spent the time. Like, she does dinners and stuff at TwitchCon with people, and it's like, you spend 7 days a week almost all day in your house doing this thing, which is creating content around gaming or streaming or reacting, whatever it may be. And that's like the thing you look forward to in the news. I get to see those people. I get to shake their hand, get to ask them how you're doing. Oh my God, that's who you are. Voice, da 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 da. It's a shame. It really is a shame. But we'll probably figure it out. Maybe we get like some robots. We'll jack into some robots walking around a con.
Oh my God, we're gonna like make our own Matrix avatars.
Oh my God. Oh, we'll
Dude,
be VTubers.
Oh yeah.
Did you see the video of the animatronic person at Disneyland that can jump
No.
60 feet and do flips? And oh my God, you need to Google this shit. Is this
That's-
scary? It's like Terminator coming to life.
I want it.
They
I want that to happen. Let's go.
Google this.
I need
Google this.
the fucking robot Olympics. Bro.
Disneyland. Google Disneyland animatronic stunt person.
Disney.
It is literally a human-shaped
Man.
robot, like a
Robot.
robot who does stunts where they jump like 60 feet in the air and they do cartwheels
Oh
and
my
flips and all-
God.
Are you on it? Did you see it?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Terminator. It's coming for us.
Hold on. I'm getting the clip right now.
This has been your warning.
This is your warning.
I'm dropping it in Discord chat.
iRobot is coming.
We'll pull it up right now so you can see what we're talking about. Bam. Oh
Do you
my
see what I'm talking about?
God.
Chat is asking for the link.
That's an ad.
Chat is asking for the link.
Oh,
Add
the
the
link.
link.
I just put it in Discord. You can grab it and drop it in Twitch.
All right, I'll do that.
Narz got it. I'm on my phone. We're also gonna pull it up right now on the stream.
You don't want me
Oh,
to
here.
put it
Where's
in
my-
chat, Zuni? All right, I'm gonna put it in chat for
We're
y'all.
gonna watch this together.
Spoiler, got that link on TikTok, my new best friend. My
You know,
quarantine buddy.
it's so funny hearing you like use TikTok so much because you never used TikTok, and then there was a
Oh, I
switch
was a
in your
hater.
brain, and it was probably Jawan telling you, Sam, use TikTok, Sam, use TikTok, Sam, use TikTok.
Jawan told me forever, get on TikTok or I'll do TikTok. Like TikTok is like where it's at.
Oh,
Like,
here it is,
see,
here it
look at
is.
this.
We got the clip up.
That's not real. That's not a person. That's an animatronic stunt robot.
Oh my God, let's see it again.
Stuntronics, they're gonna kill us. This is how we're gonna die, you
Stuntronics?
guys. We're looking at how we're going to be murdered by a.
All right, for people who are listening audio
They shan't
version
be.
at some point, there's literally a robot swinging through the air like a trapeze artist, showing physical dominance.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm so with this. Oh my
But how
God, look at
so
the
if you were at Disneyland, you would not be able to tell that was not a human being. You would think that was a human, right? Am I
Yeah,
right? That looks
yeah.
like a human. Even the way that their body moves,
Kinda stiff.
and it's like it's crazy. It's like it's too real.
It's
You know,
a
you-
humanoid.
you
It
know,
looks
the-
humanoid.
The
Right?
robot flipped perfectly, and I think the beauty is
Oh, it is beautiful, yeah.
I think the beauty here that will maybe tell the difference
Can
is
I
like
just say
go ahead.
the thighs?
The
and
thighs, you're looking
cheeks
at the
on
robot
that
cheeks, bro?
Robot.
Dating robots 2021.
Hey,
Yo,
That's the way to
I'm
go.
about it. I've read Chobbits. I know where the on button is.
What?
Oh my god.
What'd you just say?
Look at that.
What did you wait? Hold on. What did you just say?
You did-
I didn't hear you.
didn't
What
hear
did you just say?
She said what she said, Gabe.
I
said what she
didn't
said.
hear it. That's why I'm asking. Oh
Clear as
my
day.
God. I mean, look, I'm for the robot human relationships, bro. I think
You've
it'll
never
fix.
read Chobbits?
What the hell is Chobbits?
It's a manga anime.
I don't read manga, bro.
Okay, well then you won't know where the on button is then.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm such a weeb. I love it and I hate it.
Called
It's
you
a
out.
curse and a blessing.
Super weeboo.
If anybody in chat knows what I'm talking about, you're
You know what's up?
part of my army. I love
You part of the weeb army.
Weeb army.
I mean, I'm gonna say right now, I think that I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, love.
Dude,
love,
that
love, love.
movie ahead of its time, right?
Totally. Beautiful film.
I wanted to ask you, just to dial back a second back to Red Dead, what was your favorite scene you voiced?
My favorite scene.
Or yeah.
There were a lot of scenes. So there were a lot of scenes that I really loved. One that I didn't quite understand the complexity of until, until sort of after the game was over and we all knew where it was going. Spoiler alert, he dies. So,
Oh my God.
yeah,
Yeah, that was rough. That was rough.
before I knew where it was going, Mary-Beth has this really beautiful scene when Arthur first kind of gets sick and he's on a downturn and he approaches her and he says, that he's sick and she's like, "Well, you're gonna be all right." And he's like, "No, I don't think I am." And she tells him that, she's like, "I'm really sorry, to hear that." And she's like, and he basically says to her, like, "Am I a good person? If I do bad things," kind of, paraphrasing it. And she's like, "Just try to do the good thing." And it's like this really beautiful, kind of heartbreaking scene. And I didn't really know the weight of that scene until, of course, the game was over and I found out what happened. Um, but I actually love the sort of like innocence of how it was played because I actually find it more heartbreaking, because he really knows what he's going through and she's trying to, she's sort of trying to figure out, like, he's just kind of like spilling his guts to her and she's trying to be the positive, person in a scene. If someone tells you that they're terminally ill, you're like, how the fuck do you take, but there's like this really beautiful innocence to it and that always really strikes me, and I kind of find it more heartbreaking that way, and I'm glad that I didn't really know where it was going at that point because I wouldn't have wanted to play it differently.
I think I just want to agree with the Outlaw Bandit in chat, who says one of his favorite scenes is the one where you actually dance with Arthur. And I think that's one
Yeah.
of the moments. It happens a bit before the tragedy of Arthur
Oh,
Morgan,
yeah.
but I think it's a sentimental kind of like connection between you and the character, because you and the actor are also close, and it was very much so resonating with your characters as well. And I think that's one of I think that that's something that's beautiful in the sense that sometimes you can have this humanistic kind of like emotion or experience that connects to all the fans and anyone who plays and watches something, but that's something that comes from talent, that comes from skill. So Bish, you have talent, so stop it.
Thank you, Narz. I really appreciate that. Yeah, people tell me a lot about that scene. And that's another scene where it's just so funny because I didn't realize that it was going to be so impactful. But, people really root for Arthur when they play the game and they want to see him happy and they want to see him loved and they want to see him taken care of and they want him to have a happy ending. And you kind of get a lot of that in that scene. It's a really lighthearted, beautiful scene, and it's just fun. It's like a reprieve from some of the crazy shit that goes down in the game. So, yeah, people tell me about that. Yeah, there's a lot of shit that goes down in the game, but people tell me about that scene a lot, and it's kind of curious that way because I didn't think about it as much when we were filming it, but now I'm like, oh yeah, it's a really touching moment.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on, I think Red Dead Redemption. The only other game I think comes close to it in terms of storytelling in the last like pretty much almost ever in my opinion is like Witcher 3. And like Red Dead Redemption thrives in those like subtle scenes, those details that when you get to that climax and you start thinking about it, which is like Arthur's last ride to like the end of the game, and like it all comes back and that ambiance, you're like, oh my God, wait, this is actually fucking happening. And you're sitting there like at the edge of your seat with your controller or whatever you played with, just like, yo, I don't want this shit to be over.
Nah,
like,
B, I restart that and I try to see if there's any way to save him.
Bro, I tried every week. That ending was so bittersweet. It was so bittersweet. The farewells to all the characters, the conversations he had with everybody, and it's like those moments like everybody dancing in the camp, like singing along, that you can completely miss because if you just like jump through the game, you can miss a lot of the details. Like I was telling Zune, like, my favorite scene in the game was when, if you did all the nun side quests, the sister side quests, you unlock a special scene when you send the army colonel off on the train ride, where instead of like getting like the doctor from the camp or somebody else talking to you, the nun will come to you and Arthur will talk to the nun, and he'll tell her, I'm kind of scared, like I'm about to die, and like the actor, amazing, like visual caption, like the face, everything, and the nun is consoling him about like, dude, it's all right, like there's nothing to be afraid of, and it's like you could totally miss that.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's like something that I think, and maybe you agree with me, Sam, it's something that video games does better than film.
Yeah.
Because like,
oh my God,
dude, it's like film, you get an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, but it's like this game was like 70 hours, and there's like, oh.
I was having a conversation. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was going to say, I was having a conversation. I did this podcast specifically about like, if you're an actor and you want to get into, video games and all this stuff. And, and they sort of like asked me sort of a similar question. And during that interview, I had this epiphany and I was like, oh my God, film, is, they say, a director's medium. And TV is an actor's medium, or theater is an actor's medium. To me, video games is really an audience's medium, because your experience, because you have the control and you can do whatever you want, especially in these open world games, you get to dictate your experience from beginning to middle to end. Now there's a blueprint. It's not so open world that you're creating a story that was never, coded into the game, but you have an ability to change the narrative, and what Rockstar is so brilliant at doing is, they've put AI in the game. So like the characters will react to you differently, based on how you treat them. And so, if you kick a dog in town and then you go home and you come back to town, someone might say, oh, I don't trust that man. He kicked that dog, and it sort of, it creates a domino effect to everything else you do. And so, Gabe, to what you're saying, you can play the game 20 times and never have the same experience. Now you'll have the same missions and all that stuff, but like you can unlock these little secret quests and these different characters, and over 1,200 characters, New York, actors who are just phenomenally talented. Everyone on that set was phenomenally talented.
I didn't know there was that many actors. 1,200.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. Over 1,200 actors worked on, RDR2, and you get to like have these mini scenes and encounters with them, and that's one of the coolest things about playing it, I think.
We had a message in chat from the Outlaw Bandit who said, I was so happy when John reunited with Mary-Beth.
That's the other scene that I love. It's in the epilogue. I loved that scene. I just love that scene. And selfishly, I love that scene because you find out Mary-Beth has a happy ending, and that she became a writer, and and that she's living, a legitimate life, so to speak. She's not an outlaw anymore. She's a real person, that is part of, the society or whatever. But it's also just so heartwarming to have that moment between her and John where they talk about remembering the gang, and how fondly they remember them, and I love that part. And then I get to ride on a train.
I wanted to ask you, what part of the game was your favorite? Was it the epilogue or was it the main arc?
I mean, I love the epilogue because I just, it's like those. I mean, I don't think that Rockstar did it in a cheesy way, but it's almost like those early 2000 movies where it's like everyone gets a, what happened to that character? 20 years later, this person, and you kind of just get to see how people live outside of being outlaws. But what I'm really interested in is what happened before they, what happened back in Blackwater.
Oh my God.
And you do get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wait a second, and you get glimpses of that with, RDR2 Online sort of puts you in the place before Blackwater, but there's a huge missing gap that I feel like we never really talk about or see, and that's where like my gears start turning. Like, what happened in Black? That's what I want to see. So I'm interested in things that didn't even happen in the game, to be perfectly honest. But I'm a curious cat, so.
I'm with you. I remember seeing the photo that people might not see, which is the photo of Dutch, Arthur, and Hosea when they're younger. And I'm like, yo, I need to go to the old school Dutch Van der Linde gang because
Totally.
there's like I want to see the founding of the gang
Yeah.
because like hearing that Arthur was like an orphan at a point and like him and John were like essentially brothers and like the same like the Dutch and Hosea brought him in and then like there's definitely gonna be a Red Dead Redemption 3.
Yeah.
It has to be, and you're coming back, Sam. It's like I'm putting it out there right now.
You heard it here first. Your mouth to God's ears. I mean, that would be incredible. Yeah, there are a lot of Easter eggs in the game. I mean, there's even shots of, Susan Grimshaw when she was younger, and a shot of like a whole, like you're saying, the shot of all of them together when they were younger, and it just gets your kind of gears turning, and you think, oh, how did each individual person in this gang join this gang? When did that happen? Where did that happen? How did that happen? You see Tilly Jackson, one of the girls in the gang. You see how she joins the gang. She's kind of saved, from, she's kind of running around with this other gang, the Foreman brothers, and she kind of escapes their clutches and she gets adopted into the gang. Same with Sadie Adler. You see her. They sort of come upon her and they don't really rescue her because she's a feisty bitch, but she becomes an outlaw with them
Love
too.
Sadie.
And they sort of create a family, but there are a lot of characters that we don't really know. We have, inclinations of how that happened, but we really don't know how they joined the gang. And again, I'm interested in that. That's something that I wonder about. And so spend a lot of sleepless nights.
I wonder about Lenny.
Oh my God.
Right?
I wonder,
Right?
like, how did Lenny? I love Lenny. Lenny's
Yeah.
my favorite
Everyone
character
loves
behind Mary-Beth, obviously. But Lenny's my favorite
Narz.
character. And do you know that part where you can save Lenny?
It's a part you could save Lenny.
Yeah, I think there is.
No,
When
he
he's
still
drunk?
dies.
No. Is he supposed to die?
Yeah, he dies. Like,
But like, you
Yeah.
can't save him.
no, you can't.
No, there's no way to
There's
save
no way
him,
to save
yeah.
anybody. They all
It's a
just
bummer.
they all take no matter how
But
much time.
Narz, you're right. You're right. It's like where did Lenny, like how did they come across Lenny? How did they come across Charles? Like how did they come like it's like
Yeah.
Give
There's
us
so
answers,
much
Rock.
story there that like I feel like is necessary to love these characters. I mean, I love them already, but to love them more, give me that option. I'll pay $69.99 for it.
Actually, you know what? I'm kind of against the $70 price points in games, but if there was a Red Dead Redemption 3, I would
You would do
I
it.
would pay the $70 because I know I'm getting more than my money's worth
Exactly.
in that game.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. They were really generous with us when the game came out. They sent us all the people in the gang. They sent us this giant care package with just like all the fun, crazy merch. Like Red Dead 2 Zippo lighters and like just crazy like Red Dead 2 stuff. My favorite thing, they sent us each like a custom Pendleton blanket.
Oh my
like
God.
a Red Dead 2
so
custom
cool.
Pendleton. It's so boss. I'm like this. I'm gonna like snuggle up next to the fire and feel like I'm in camp and have a good cry when I miss all the gang and they gave us the game so I didn't have to buy it, so I didn't my pockets didn't hurt from that, but I feel you on that. Games are really fucking expensive. What's up with that?
It's like, dude, it's $70, $100 is so much. Last question from me because it's getting pretty late in New York and that's when people get stabbed.
It's getting super late.
What are your recommendations for anybody who wants to get into the film or gaming industry as an actor?
I get this question a lot.
Of course.
And I don't think, and I only say that because there really is no easy answer, and
Yeah.
everyone you ask is going to give you they're going to respond differently based on their own experiences. For me, I've known forever that I wanted to be an actor.
You can't imagine
and I
yourself doing
pursued-
anything else.
What?
You can't imagine yourself doing anything else.
So actually, when I was in college, I interned. I went to NYU, so I was in New York City, and I interned at Vogue because I thought I wanted to go into fashion. And for me, it was between going into fashion or going into acting, like as a profession, not just as like love of my life. This is my passion. Like I had to make a definitive, answer to myself. Like, what am I going to pursue? And I was interning at, Vogue, and I'm surrounded by like the craziest, most amazing people. I went to the Met Gala. I was behind the scenes. I saw crazy ass shit. Like it was insane. Like it was bonkers. You know what I mean? And at that time I was picking between like, because I think I was a junior in college, and I was thinking like, when I get out of here, what am I going to do? Am I going to spend the next 10 years plugging away and trying to be, a creative director, like a fashion director, an editorial director at Vogue? And what would that look like if in 10 years I achieved that, which is kind of an impossible feat because it's one of the, biggest, most well-known magazines in the world. Or if I took those 10 years and I went down the acting path, what would that look like if I achieved everything that I wanted in acting? And under which circumstance would I turn around and think, damn it, if I could make it in this competitive field where no one, and go, and be as successful as possible in this really, really hard career, am I going to regret not doing the other thing? And for me, I knew that going down the path of, if I was an editorial director or whatever at Vogue, I would turn around and regret never having acted, never having really tried it. But I knew that if I was an actor and I had, and I was working on projects that I was really passionate about and working with people that inspired me, I knew that I could turn around and do stuff in fashion, but I would never regret, not becoming an editor. And so that's why I pursued acting. That being said, and I've been doing it for a million years now, it's a hard road, and you really have to love it, and you have to put your heart and soul into it, and you have to create inroads in kind of here's the thing. There's so many different things in acting. Like I said before, you could be, theater, you could focus on TV and film, you could focus on, there are people who are just commercial actors and they make bank and they love it and they have fun and that's enough for them, To me, you need to figure out what you really love about acting, what really feeds you, and then you need to build a community around that. The same that you would do in gaming. You need to find your people that you want to work with and collaborate with, that inspire you and that motivate you and that keep you going, and you need to build from there. So, if I had never acted before and I was talking, or if I was talking to someone who had never acted before and they said that they were interested in it, I would tell them to take a class and see if they really loved it, then, and then, build relationships with the other people in that class and start creating like a community. And truth be told, for the most part, you can't really do anything in the business without having representation. So that's a whole other conversation, but it's a rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole, and it's like anything else. You got to become undeniably good at it, so that you don't give people the opportunity to say no to you, because they really can't when you walk in the door. And I could go on and on and on. I don't know. I don't know how great the advice I give is about acting, because I just think it's so subjective to the person giving you, they're giving it through their experience. And my experience has been so bizarre that I don't really know what the path is.
So then,
sorry, guys.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good. So then I think that a place we can leave it off on is wow, my brain is not working because I need to take a piss. What is left that you want to achieve in acting?
Oh,
okay. Ooh.
You heard
what?
Me? I said, what is left that you want to achieve in acting?
What is left? Oh my gosh, I feel like there's so much.
I'm never gonna use the bathroom.
Truly. Never satisfied. No, not that I'm never satisfied. I just, I would love to be able to read a book, and I'd love to be able to read a book, see myself as a character, and and either buy that intellectual property or find out who owns that intellectual property and get a meeting with that person and get myself, in whatever version they're taking to the screen or stage. That would be the ultimate goal. Like, I just want, I want, not that I want creative control, but I would like to be able to have more choices. As an actor, it seems really glamorous that you get to do these really cool projects that people care about. But the fact of the matter is, mostly it's auditioning for things that you don't really care about and waiting for people to say yes, and then when they say yes, you're like, okay, cool. So I did this thing, but I did it because it was a job, but not because I really cared deeply about it in any way. So what I want to achieve in acting is a career where I get to work on things that I am passionate about with people who inspire me, that, are equally excited to create relevant content. And that can be in any form. I really don't care.
So can I recommend a good book?
Yes.
So there's this series, it is called Red Rising. So it's the Red Rising trilogy. You've heard of it, right?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Yeah, so it's by Pierce Brown. It's a really good trilogy. I think it's going to be, I personally, it has the potential to be a movie or a series or something like that.
Franchise.
Yeah, I think it might be something right up your alley to check out.
Red Rising. Okay, I will check it out. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I think
lost him.
Gabe ran to the restrooms. This is like, dude, should we wrap up or should we wait for Gabe?
Maybe do the Despacito Baby Shark dance until he comes back.
I don't know if it's copyrighted. We might get slapped with the
Oh,
DMCA.
oh, boo. Boo to that. Wait, so you're not an Apple girl. You don't get, what is it, 1,000 zoom, 100 zoom? What's the zoom?
100 zoom on the Samsung Ultra. It's the Samsung Ultra 20. It's literally
Okay.
like a brick. I could literally beat somebody over the head with
Yeah.
this. But I was away for like Labor Day weekend, and I saw whales in the distance in the beach when I was on the beach, and I was just like, I can just zoom in, and I saw them. I was like, oh my god, how pretty! It was so like I know it sounds so detached, but it was the
No,
only
it sounds
way.
amazing. It sounds amazing, actually. But here's my question. What's the quality of the image that you see? Is it pixelated or is it like really sharp, like a
It's
good
slightly
image?
pixelated. It's still pretty
Okay.
clear and pretty sharp, even with 100 zoom. And like, I actually posted the video on my Instagram, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is a great video. How you look like you were really close." I was like, "Nah, I was miles away, safe
Wow.
and I wasn't even outside. It was like she's still in my bedroom."
So did you see
Oh
the
my
video
God.
of the woman getting
Oh my
eaten
God.
by a whale?
I saw that today. Did you see the video of the woman being eaten by a whale?
She's on the kayak.
She's on a kayak. She
Whales
got
don't eat people.
Yeah, they
don't, but
do.
she got
She got snatched.
yeah,
She got snatched.
yeah, she's safe. She's good. She's not hurt. But this whale dead ass was like,
Was it an orca or
it was an orca.
Oh yeah, those
was
are wolves of
crazy.
the sea, bro. Let's go.
The wolves
Those
of
are the wolves of the
sea.
sea. They
was
fucking
crazy.
savage, those goddamn things. All right.
We were waiting for you.
Yeah, we're waiting for you because we're gonna wrap up. So I guess Sam, if anyone wants to know where they can find you, where would you like to direct them to?
Y'all can follow me or find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and it's all the same. It's at Sam Strelitz, SamStrelitz. Woo, that
Have you
took.
checked out Sam's TikToks?
whole
They're
life.
pretty funny.
I get enough of Sam
They've
in
gotten
my
pretty
life.
political, but
I mean, but
I
you're-
get a lot of Sam in my life.
really? Oh, how, on Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram and TikTok.
Okay. All right. Good work.
I'm all up to date on what's going on in the Strelitz verse.
All right.
Yeah.
The
That's what's up.
Strelitz verse.
The Strelitz universe. You judge
Strelitz
you
verse.
judge him. You judge him. She's like Strelitz verse. Okay, that's what we're calling it.
Yeah.
That's what we're calling it.
All right, we want to wrap up.
Of course, Narz is giving me the cue. Like, hurry the fuck up. Let's get this done. Anyway, thank you so much, Sam, for coming out. You've been amazing. I appreciate the time you spent with us. You know, we kind of, we bonded over Red Dead. It was a beautiful.
Thank you
moment.
guys for having me.
I hope to have you back again in the future when you're on Red Dead Redemption 3.
Oh,
Okay. Putting it out there again, second time. But you can catch us every Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/368NYC. We are Superlab368. I am Gabe. This is Narz.
We're doing the Fusion Pow.
And I'm going home.
Yay! Ah, Fusion Pow. I love it. Besties forever.